Scott from Nervous Wreck Dive Club.
And I'm Ken Jardine, a scuba instructor at Scuba Tech in Sydney.
And we have a pretty good show lined up for you today. I think you'll really, because we always have a good show.
Yeah.
That's
right. I see a lot of hosts getting on saying, folks, we have a really crappy show here for you today. You could have sucked, so go to the fridge.
I don't know him
either. Get a peanut butter sandwich or something like that. It is a good show today. You're right.
We needed someone to sit in that chair, and he was walking down the street, and
you just
grabbed the wrong person.
You just want free air. That's all. We do have a great show today. It's a spot that Mark and we talked about it on the last show. We've been wanting to get in ever since I dove the thing with Linda Donovan at night. I've been wanting to get a show on this particular dive site. It's absolutely spectacular. It's in Neils Harbor on the Cabot Trail.
That's right.
And it's right around the breakwater, which it's a government-built breakwater. It's an artificial reef, actually.
The thing is about this footage, Ken told me about this dive spot, and I've been in some fantastic areas. And I figured, okay, it's got to be a pretty good dive spot in that. But once I got down there, it is fantastic.
Didn't realize how good it was.
Fantastic.
Yeah, when you've been around diving a lot, like even Mexico and places like this, you get a little jaded sometimes. But to find this right literally on our doorstep.
There's world-class scuba diving. I've been saying it from day one. Cape Island has world-class scuba diving.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Anyways, the rest of the show, we will also have a tech talk on dry suit maintenance. Remember last week we talked about the difference between wetsuits and dry suits? We'll talk about the maintenance of a dry suit. Yeah. And on instructor tips,
I'm doing dive tables.
Going to talk about dive tables.
That's as opposed to picnic tables. we have a dive table. People ask a lot about the bends all the time. What about the bends? Well, the dive table is like our shield against that, and there's a considerable amount of time spent on scuba courses on tables, and I'll give you a little bit of a look at it. If you're a scuba diver, you might find it interesting as a bit of a refresher, and if you're someone who's thinking about it, we're running courses all year long. In the winter is a great time to take a scuba course, and you'll have a little bit of an idea of what's involved in it.
The other thing we want to mention also is like any segments that you see on Tech Talk or Instructor Tips are not a course.
Definitely, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that.
They're just comments to help divers that are out there and maybe refresh them a little bit, and that's about it.
Yeah, the purpose of this show when we started was, we want to have some fun, expose people to expose people to scuba, different aspects of scuba, in Cape Breton specifically, but it's not a substitute for a scuba course. But right now, let's get into a little bit of something which you mentioned a few minutes ago.
Dry suit maintenance.
Dry suit maintenance. Hope you enjoy this.
Welcome back to Pep Talk. As you can see, I'm kind of waxing the zipper here. Why do you wax zippers, Ken? You're the instructor, you go for it.
Well, the zipper is a very expensive piece, and it's the heart of your dry suit. These things, literally, when you do a dive, we can wear these clothes inside of the dry suit, do a full dive underwater, come out, but it's because of the dry suit zipper. However, it's very fragile, and the waxing is one of the major steps you take in actual care and maintenance of the dry suit, which is, I think, what you wanted to get out to the folks today.
Yeah, exactly. And if you don't take care of this thing right here, you might as well look at spending $300 to $400 down the road to get it replaced. So what we do is we wax it to give it a smooth operation, and all it is just a beeswax. You just run it along the zipper.
You normally start with the zipper open or closed, right?
I like to start with the zipper open because I find if you close the zipper, the imprint of the zipper will get into the rubber and eventually ruin the seal.
Yeah, I was talking with one of our manufacturing reps from Brooks Dry Suits, and they were saying this little lip here is the whole heart of it. You're right. If you leave the zipper closed and store it for long-term storage, you're going to put an imprint in that thing, and it's not going to. It's not going to hold water.
The purpose for a dry suit is to keep you dry. You don't want it to keep you wet. Once you put the wax on it, you might want to run the zipper back and forth a couple of times just to get it inside, to get the wax in there. As you can see, that's a pretty smooth operation. That's what you want. If your zipper starts sticking on you, that's not the time to go diving. Okay, that looks pretty good, Ken. Let's fold this up and put it in in the bag.
Okay, how do you want to do it?
Okay, well, let's stretch the arms out here a bit. If the seat itself is laying fairly flat, let's grab the boots and bring it up to the shoulders. Come on, pass them to me there, as such. Okay, now let's take the arms, hold it over the boots, grab the crotch of the suit, hold it back on, and if you want to hold the bag there for me, I'll slide it right in.
It's almost more like rolling it and folding it.
Basically. You want to try to keep the zipper as flat as possible, so you don't get any, again, indentations or problems with the zipper. Come here, as snug as a bug in the rug.
One thing I know you do one of the other tech talks on equipment bags. One thing about an equipment bag, what's the good of having your seat nice and clean and everything, and you're putting it in a bag full of grass and dirt and
You got it.
everything else, the stuff is expensive.
Exactly. So until next week, have fun, play safe, we'll see you on the water. Zippers, and these are strictly dry suit zippers we're talking about here, folks.
I think Mark practices all the zippers, to be honest with you. But that's up to you, Mark, I don't know.
They've been ribbing me on this one. Heck, what can I say?
There you go. Whatever works for you.
I'm surprised no one's commented on my seams with the end written on it.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. Should we tell them the reason for that?
You go ahead.
Okay. After shooting two or three shows or two or three sections of footage underwater, you go home, you take a look at the footage, and you can't tell where one ends and the other one starts.
You might have two dives on one tape.
Exactly.
You can't switch tapes underwater, obviously.
Exactly. So I had to develop a system where I could identify where one dive ended and the other dive started. So now I just pan down to my fins and say the end.
Says the end. Works for you.
Works for me.
As far as dives go, I don't know if you used the end on the Neils Harbor dive.
There is no end to that dive.
I'd like to take a second and give the folks a look on the map of how to get to Neils Harbor. If that's all right, if the camera here is set up for it, I'll just skip right over and give you a look at where we're going. Neils Harbor's on the Cabot Trail, and again, I usually start from Sydney because it's the most prominent thing on the map in Cape Breton here, obviously, and you take the 125 over till you hit the 105 Trans-Canada Highway in North Sydney. A lot of times we'll meet out here at the A&K Liquor Chick out there in Bredor, Tim Hortons in Bredor, and we skip out through Bredor, along the 125, over the Bredor Bridge, over Kelly's Mountain, and we'll go down on Highway 312, which is the Cabot Trail. We go across the Englishtown Ferry and follow the coast, which is just a beautiful drive, all up along through Little River has a breakwater. We're going to have to try that, Mark. You guys tried it a couple weeks back, didn't you?
Yeah, we got there, we couldn't dive.
Yeah, visibility was low. Up past Wreck Cove, over Cape Smoky, Ingonish, etc., and on up past Green Cove, which our very first show was done at Green Cove, actually, and you end up right in Neils Harbor. You can't miss it. It's very well signed, and there is only one wharf, government wharf in Neils Harbor, and a big breakwater, so it's pretty hard to miss. The lighthouse is there, and on the point, isn't there a lighthouse on that point?
There's a lighthouse on the point, there's a little restaurant there on the point.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
and just before that, on the left-hand side, as you're driving up to the lighthouse, is where the wharf is.
Yeah.
And
We
this is
drove-
where our location is.
We drive right down to the wharf. You can set your gear up there. We didn't interfere with any fishermen. It wasn't fishing season. When was the date for that?
That was, as a matter of fact, I have my trusted dive log book here, and that was on November 19th.
Okay, well, let's cut away with the footage, and we can give you a little more insight into it. I think you're really going to enjoy this footage of the dive at the Neils Harbor Breakwater.
There's the wharf we were jumping off of there. There's the OK car.
There's Kenton, the little guy sitting off the side, and the little boy there, and my daughter Madeline's sitting down there on the wharf somewhere. Feel pretty good that day. Who's this jumping in, Marky?
I believe that was Colleen that just jumped in.
Good stride entry.
Look at the presentation.
This is literally as soon as your head breaks the surface and goes under.
Exactly, and there's about 1,200 feet of water there.
I'm going to want some info on the dive down there. Yeah, it's 12-15 feet deep, which is great for a stride entry. You got a nice clean lift to set all your gear up on, and you just take the gear out of your vehicle, put it on, and jump in.
This is one prime example here, folks, of how the water is warmer than the air. The air temperature was 47 degrees Fahrenheit that day.
Yeah.
And the water temperature was 44 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, because we were getting dressed and the snow was coming down and everything else, but the water was quite warm.
The water was fantastic. Pauline is one of the first people to ever get cold, and she was over 30 minutes underwater.
Oh yeah, she was fine. Well, she has that custom book wetsuit too, so she's quite comfortable there. Old derelict lobster trap that's all beat up. The primary use of this wharf used by lobster fishermen from Neil's Harbor, and fisherwomen, I should say. Linda Donovan lives right there. She's a fisher person, I guess, yeah. She lobster fishes with Michael Buffett there.
Look at the speed you're moving, buddy.
Zoomed in there. Oh, what's this? There you are. Is that you? That's you, that's your fins.
Yeah, there's Paulette and Colleen.
Paulette and Colleen going on too. We had the two cameras with us on this one, folks, so you see it cut into different angles when you see someone holding the camera. Mark and I both have
beautiful kelp forest all in
houses, yeah. Well, this is similar to Green Cove as far as the vegetation goes, that whole coast. We're only 3 miles from Green Cove? 4 miles?
Yeah, about 4 or 3.
By boat it's only 3 or 4 miles, by car it might be a little more. And you can see here the different caverns, the big caverns that when they dump these giant, huge rocks in to form the breakwater, they form a bunch of rooms, I guess you'd say. They're not really caves because you've constantly
have access.
Right, and as you mentioned before, this does not substitute for taking a scuba course. And cave diving is a specialty diving. It's like ice diving in that you need a lot of extra equipment, ropes and special extra tanks and a lot of extra training actually. Because the potential, your risk potential goes up, of course. But this is not cave diving. We constantly have clear access to the surface. Well, even when we win these rock rooms, as it were.
Once you get inside these caverns, you can see all the anemones.
Yeah, there's a night dive.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of pyrite in these rocks, and they just look like they're sparkling with gold fluorite. Yeah, it had lobster jumping off the rocks and parachuting down on top of us. It was just spectacular. Because our bubbles would go up amongst the rocks overhead and dislodge some of the really small lobster.
That's right, too.
And these things would come falling down in front of us. And that barnacles here, those white things you can see are barnacles, which are a shellfish, I guess. They can do a lot of damage to wharfs and structures.
That's what I understand, yes.
Yeah, I don't know much about them.
You can see the visibility was fantastic that day, too. The maximum depth you reach here is approximately 45 to 50 feet.
That's if you stay right at the base of the breakwater.
Exactly. But most of your dive is done way above that.
Oh yeah, you're sticking around 25, 30 feet, going into the different formations and such.
There's a nice shot of the opening.
Yeah. And there wasn't much swell on that day either. We didn't have a lot of...
Nice and quiet.
Not a lot of buffeting. That's you there, is it? Hi guys. Yeah, that's you. There we go.
Just crawling out of my hole here.
The thing as the cameraman, it's very seldom that we end up in the shots ourselves because we're behind the camera, so it's a little different here. You can see you and I both have the same camera housing and light. I have a little different arm on my...
There's the school of college.
Yeah, they were scouting around us there.
They're quite common around there too. This is great.
It's not very often in Cape Breton that you get schools of fish around there as a diver like this. Not like down south.
No, not like
you're going to Caribbean waters.
Yeah, but this pollock and that is around the harbor there all the time.
Yeah, who's this?
This is...
That's you again, orange fins?
This is...
Yeah,
it is me.
Yeah, that's my glove or yours?
Yeah, that is your glove.
Yeah. And sea anemones, very prevalent around North Atlantic waters here. I remember Jacques Cousteau John Stoneman, that he does that sea exploration show there back in the 80s. And they did a show diving in Nova Scotia somewhere, and you heard the phrase about 8 or 10 times, going into the frigid Atlantic waters. These guys, I don't know what they think of frigid is, but our waters here are quite warm, that's for sure.
This spot right here, the water temperature, I've seen it almost 70 degrees in the summertime.
I did a dive, again, at Green Cove, about 3 miles up, 5 miles up the road from there. I did a 40-minute dive wearing a 2-mil shorty, the same thing you see me wearing in a lot of the instructor tip shows in the pool. wearing that same suit.
That's a big shot of the bubbles.
Coming up here?
Coming up through.
Yeah. It's just, I love this dive site. It is just so nice. And even if it's a little rough on the outside, because it is a breakwater, it's made to break the sea. But the only problem is, if it is rough, is that your visibility gets knocked down because it stirs up a lot of sediment.
Exactly, because on your entry and exit, it's well sheltered, and there's no problem there.
Yeah, was this that would be me there. This was the trap we found that was, it had a lobster in it actually. No rope, no float on it. It had, I guess during storms a lot of the traps would break free of the
Yeah, there was about a 3-foot section of rope tied to this, and like the trap was just a bit of it.
Yeah, and what I do when I come along the traps, I have found wire lobster traps, and sometimes we've taken them to the wharf and just leave them there and the tags on it, and whoever owns it will pick it up. But a trap like this, the wood is all rotted. What most divers do when they find it is they'll free whatever's trapped inside of it, and we'll bust the trap all up so that it won't catch any more lobster or crab. The regulations now, I think they have to have those decaying panels in them.
Exactly.
So
especially on the wire traps.
Yeah. So they have to have those panels, and after so many months or whatever, the panel will decay and it can't actually catch anything. But the older traps like this didn't have that, so we normally chop them up so it won't trap any unfortunate lobster that get in there anymore. And you can see I'm sawing the heck out of it there with my trusty dive knife.
Now, I think we get to see, we don't. There's a beautiful finger sponge.
Big finger sponge there.
That is.
The variety of life in on this dive is incredible.
Oh, most definitely. There's some sea anemones and the kelp. This is typical of what you'll see along the breakwaters.
Just walls and walls.
And again, take a flashlight with you, shine it on this.
Yeah, you always mention that, but it's true. You get in around under these rocks and everything, and even on a bright sunny day, if you don't have a light, you can't see inside of these nice little rooms.
That's right.
And that you're missing out on half the fun of that site. I don't know how that would be to snorkel.
I think you could snorkel it. You'd be staying within the first 20 feet of it, and it's just as...
It would be a good snorkel there, you know that?
Most definitely. Yeah. Most definitely, because those boulders, those rocks, those caverns are from surface.
Some of them are only 10 feet underwater. Yeah, you can swim along and just look at them and stuff like that.
I don't think I'd want to enter them on the snorkel.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's about 94 miles to drive from Sydney.
That's about right, John.
Yeah,
94 miles.
It's well worth the trip if you haven't dove this particular site and you want something out of the ordinary. But it is what we classify as a pussycat dive. It's not over 40 feet deep, and it's easy in, easy out. The wharf has a couple of ladders to go up and down.
The level is novice to advanced, depending on what it is.
Yeah, you can be a brand new diver right off your course and easily do that dive.
Oh yes.
It's just fantastic.
And you can do 2 tanks or 3 tanks and not see the same thing twice.
You could, if you wanted to, actually go right up around the end of the restaurant there and come out up in the other cove. Up off the end of that restaurant, I think, a couple of that. Didn't you were diving with somebody?
There's anchors, yeah.
A big anchor up there.
Yeah, there's a couple of anchors down there.
Supposedly been the ship over the years.
Breakwaters too.
Yeah, so there's several dives within a couple of miles of that. All around there. There's just tons and tons of dives. As we've done Money Point there. Well, it was right out off of there that I snorkeled with the whales.
That's right.
2 years ago.
That's right.
Out with Derek and Shane Briand out off Pat's boat, and we had whales swimming right underneath us and stuff like that. It was just spectacular.
Anyways, let's move on to instructor tips. And you're going to talk to us about
a little bit about the dreaded dive table. That's
dive tables, yes.
Let Lawrence get over there so he can hit the button for us. Stretch. All right, dive tables, folks, and we'll be back with you in a couple of seconds.
Hi, welcome to Instructor Tips. This is not a new deck of cards for the Sheraton Casino. These are something called dive tables. Now, dive tables are basically it's a shield, is what I tell my students, to protect us from decompression, better known as the bends. Because of the different physics and physiology of the human body and the way we absorb gases, it limits the amount of time that we can spend underwater. It's quite interesting how they were developed. Basically, they used a bunch of U.S. Navy guys as guinea pigs and came up with all these dive tables. What it is it's a table to give you your time limits that you can spend on the dives. They come in a couple different configurations. This is the actual table itself. All right. Now we have it. It's laid out in three separate tables: Table 1, Table 2, and Table 3. On your scuba course, you're taught how to read these tables, and that these letters at the bottom here are going to tell you how much nitrogen your body has absorbed. Down the side on this particular model, it has your depth in feet, 40, 50, 60, 70 feet, and so on. And in the center here are your dive times. Now let's say that you did a dive for 45 minutes to 50 feet. Well, you fly 50 feet down the side, you come across for 45 minutes. Well, 45 minutes doesn't exist on this table. It goes from 40 minutes to 50 minutes. So you have to go to the next higher up. You always err on the side of caution. Go to 50 minutes, which means you are a G diver. Now, what does G mean? Well, if you took a person and if you wrote in magic marker, starting at their ankle, the letter A, B, C, D, E, right up the body, a G diver means you're up to here with nitrogen. This is a very crude way of putting it, but that's roughly how we explain it to our students. You've got quite a bit of nitrogen in your body. The other two tables are a little more complex. I'm not really going to get into those because really that's the whole idea of the scuba course. This course is not, or this show is not for replacing scuba training. But the dive tables do give you limits. As you can see here, I could go to 60 feet for 55 minutes. That's as a clean diver. If I already had been diving earlier in the day, I would have to come to another table here and adjust my dive times. I might not be able to go for as long. I can go to 100 feet for 22 minutes. All right, that's one method. This is what we call the dive calculator. It has the same information as the dive table, but it's done sort of as a circular slide rule, and around the top we have our depths, 40, 50, 60 feet, and in the little window we have our times. So for 50 feet I can go for 80 minutes, and for 100 feet I can go for 22 minutes. It's a lot easier to read, a lot less chance for error and mistakes. A couple other things that are here. We have a special altitude dive calculator, because if you're diving in lakes and such over 1,000 feet up, you have to take other physics and physiology into consideration. It gets kind of complex, but after you've sat down with the 20 hours or so of classroom training that you get on your regular scuba course, and then on an advanced or a master diver course, you're talking another 20 to 30 hours of academic stuff, not to mention all the great dives that you have. These things are pretty simple. And just so you know, for those of you that aren't divers, this is something you learn on your course. For those of you that are divers, if you need a little refresher on your tables, that's what your textbooks are for. And also, I'm sure that any dive shop has instructors who would gladly give you some help with refresher stuff on it. The dive tables are your defense against decompression sickness. Live it, learn it, know it, and love it. That's it for instructor tips for today.
And we're back. As any good diver, Marky here has his dive log, and he has his dive tables. That stuff was shot out in the Gabrous Wharf with just one camera, so we didn't get as many close shots of the tables as I'd like. Doug, if you can get us in a little tighter on this, I'd appreciate it. And there we go, the magic of television. As I said there before, we have Table 1, Table 2, and Table 3. And while that segment was airing, Doug was asking me about if you were a G diver, could you go back in the water? That's where Table 3 comes in. Like a G diver can go to 40 feet here for 57 minutes. But it's, there's a substantial amount of time. What would you say, Mark? Maybe 2.5, 3 hours of your scuba course classroom stuff is spent on tables?
There's an awful lot of time, a great percentage of time.
And there's a lot of time spent teaching you about how the body absorbs gases. That's the table. I'm going to give you a little closer look at the calculator here. How's that picking up there? Put it forward? Okay, how's that? Okay. And we'll get it right side up. And as you can see here, it's just a little bit easier because with the little window here, you're not looking at all the numbers at the same time. And if you've used both of them, this is definitely the one of choice. I'll go back on the studio camera. But they're very well thought out. They're a very important thing to have for the diver, of course, protect you from decompression.
Almost definitely. You know the commercial on TV, they say, don't leave home without it.
Definitely.
That is a must for divers.
And no matter what level of scuba you take, be it anywhere from a basic level diver right up to the military diving and the commercial diving, that no one ever takes your reference materials away from you.
Almost
The dive tables are
As an
available.
instructor, how often do you use your tables?
Me?
Yes, as an instructor.
Every time I dive, I use my tables, every time. People have asked me, when do you use your tables, before, during, or after the dive? And I compare it to a firefighter putting on his firefighting clothes, his bunker gear. Would you put it on before you go in the building, while you're in the building, or after you come out of the building? It kind of makes sense to put it on before you go in. But if you have the bucks and the interest, you can always get into something like this, which is the dive computer. And I think we'll do a tech talk on dive computers later on.
I believe we do.
Yeah, and these are just fantastic. They're doing a lot of it for you. Anyway, our next show is going to be on the Evelyn, which is in the mouth of Lewisburg Harbor. It's a fantastic dive site. We've been on it a couple times now.
Yeah, it is. And Lewisburg Harbor, again, is like Gooseberry Cove. There can be half a dozen dives in there.
Yeah, the Evelyn went down in the 1920s. There's lots of wreckage to see. We had a great time, sea life and everything, folks. I hope you'll be able to join us on that. Until next time, I'm Ken Jardine from Scuba Tech.
And I'm Mark Boutot from Nervous Wreck Dive Club.
And safe diving, everyone. See you next time.